Oh, he's back. He's back on YouTube. Yay. Let's not make a big deal about it, eh? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about perfectionism. This is something that held me back in my own music making for years. I would work my tracks to death to the point where I just wouldn't release anything because the tracks were never perfect. I know that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and I was going to make a little Instagram reel about it because that's what I've been focusing on recently, but I thought, what the hell, let's just make a full-blown YouTube video out of it. So let's dive into it today together. I want to take you back to when I was rediscovering my own artistry after neglecting it for quite some time. I've been a music trainer for many years, and there was a time where I wasn't making any music, I was just teaching music. And at this time, I made a conscious decision not to make music. I felt like now was not the time to be focusing on my own artistry whilst I was helping other people develop theirs. And in doing so, I helped a lot of people develop their own artistry and go on to do some great things. But at the same time, completely lost touch with music myself. And I kind of woke up one day and was like, right, this is not the life I want to live. What's most important to me is my own music and sharing that with the world, not necessarily helping other people. Helping other people, I think, is just a byproduct of you doing your thing, because once you've done it, you can then show other people how you did it. You can lay the breadcrumbs out for others. One of the most satisfying things about being a creator, in my opinion, is laying down a pathway for people so if they too chose to, they could go on to do some great things also. But let's save that for another video. As I flipped this switch from educator over to artist, it was a massive paradigm shift and something that took many years for me to really kind of grow into and feel comfortable with. If you scroll back some of the videos from a few years ago, you can see this transitional period for me where there's like nothing really happening on my YouTube channel for about 5 or 6 years. And then all of a sudden there's just jam videos popping up out of nowhere. This was me like rediscovering my own art. And I've spoken about this before, but at this time, being an educator, also trying my hand at being an artist, I had this intense amount of pressure that I put on myself to perform at an exceptionally high level. And this is where perfectionism absolutely crippled me. I would not release anything unless I thought it was perfect. This was my mentality. And so if you look at this stuff that I was creating, they were all jam videos. They were these non-committal ideas where if people kind of thought they weren't very good, I had something to fall back on, like, oh, it's just a jam video. This is not like an official release. And I think I got away with that for a while, to the point where I started getting a lot of feedback on these jam videos and actually building my confidence to know that what I had was actually quite special. I just didn't believe it myself. So what I started doing was actually releasing bootlegs. This was like my next step up from releasing jams. I'd grab an a cappella from somewhere, remix the tune, and then upload it to SoundCloud and see what happens. And some of those bootlegs got a little bit of attention, but ultimately I was still dancing around this idea of releasing something official. This was still me just experimenting and not having the confidence to go all in on a release. One of these bootlegs I released took me over 4 years to finish. I kept sculpting it and grinding away at this project because I just didn't think it was good enough. Something needed to change. The kick needed to be changed. The plucks needed to be changed. The automation wasn't right. The mix was wrong. I mean, I could come up with any reason to keep working on this project. And herein lies the issue. When we put so much emphasis on any one track, when we feel like this track has to be perfect before it goes out, we can totally cripple our creativity. I truly believe that creativity only visits us for a fleeting moment. Like when we're in the zone and we're creating music, creativity speaks to us like it's the muse, right? That contacts us for a moment and sparks that inspiration in us, and we need to harness that, capture it, and use it as quickly as possible. But that may only last for a few minutes if you're lucky in any one session, and then that creative idea just turns into a lot of legwork to turn it into something substantial. This has been my experience with every track I've ever put out. But for some reason, there's this tendency to get caught up in that inspiration moment moment, still waiting for that inspiration to keep hitting again and again and again, like little dopamine hits. But I don't think that's the way that music goes. And what can actually happen from constantly reworking our projects or revisiting them, expecting more inspiration to hit us, is that we can end up overproducing our track, getting totally lost in the details, or even worse, developing self-doubt about our own abilities. Sometimes we just need to acknowledge where we are at on our music making journey. We may be right at the very start with 0 releases under our belt, working one track to death, thinking that it has to be of this exceptionally high quality, when really we're just starting and it really doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be finished. This is a really easy cycle to get caught up in. With easy access to all kinds of music and every track imaginable, we are constantly comparing our work to others, generally at the very, very top when you're at the very, very bottom, thinking that your track is not good enough. We end up working our tracks into the ground when we just need to accept where we're at. Look at things a little more holistically and go, you know what? I'm just getting started. This track is pretty good for now. Let's move on to the next one. Because the quality of your track at this early stage really isn't that important. What's important is that you finish it and move on to the next one and take those skills from that previous track and put them into the next one. Build up a body of work that you can use as momentum to push you forward. I used to be of the mindset that everything had to be top quality. But honestly, that is total bullshit. Eliminate that from your thought process. Quantity breeds quality. This is the way it goes. The more you do, the more you execute, the more you take action, the more you finish, the better your music will become, guaranteed. You're coming from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Scarcity is going, you know what? I don't think I'll ever be able to make a track as good as this one again. This has to be perfect. But we have to shift our mindset to go, you know what? This is just one track in an ocean of tracks going forward. They're not all going to be amazing, but in amongst those, some of them will stand out and some of them will get the attention of others. This abundance mindset, disregarding perfectionism altogether, is seriously going to level up your game. And it's just a simple flick of the switch in our minds to do that. Once you stop putting so much emphasis on any one tune, realize it doesn't matter that much. Even if it was a shit track. I've released shit tracks, but I've also released some fucking great ones too. Tracks I'm really proud of. The worst thing you can do is stifle your own productivity by kidding yourself that things need to be perfect. Perfectionism is really going to hinder your progress. So let's eliminate this mindset of perfectionism. It doesn't exist. You're creating this. It's not real. And don't rob yourself of the journey that it's going to take to reach that level of quality that you're searching for. If you've struggled from perfectionism like I have in the past, then drop a comment below. I would love to hear your story. Let's start the conversations. Hopefully shift this mindset for other people as well. And that's all I got. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you later.